Welcome to the SoulScape Show, where together we will explore and discover the depth and breadth of your soul for your evolution to higher consciousness. This is a very special show with your host, Gabrielle Spencer, and special guest, Zoe Davenport. Gabrielle Spencer is known for conscious creation for old souls. She is a multidimensional intuitive channel and channels the golden beings of light and higher vibrational beings in healing sessions as an inspirational speaker, author, and practical spiritualist who assists you to raise your vibration to reclaim your inner power, spiritual gifts, and abilities. Gabrielle shares next level spiritual tools, clearings, and activations to unite your heart, mind, spirit, and soul to allow you to awaken and manifest your soul's highest destiny. And Zoe Davenport was born with extrasensory abilities and has been extensively studying self-love, quantum physics, and spiritual ascension for the past 10 years. She uses her multidimensional gifts to inspire and support the visionary leaders of the new paradigm. She seeks to guide them towards self-love, authenticity, creative potential, energetic mastery, and the embodiment of their higher selves. Her ability to hold the multidimensional field open accelerates a person's potential and allows them to make a quantum shift in reality, jump to the highest timeline, and ground their creative expression into the human experience. She is here to support those ready to expand upon their leadership roles, using her intuitive gifts of potential outcomes to easily guide a person towards their most aligned journey. Today, we will be discussing You Are an Avatar. Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Gabrielle Spencer. Thank you for joining me on the SoulScape Show. I am so honored and excited to have with me tonight someone very special, Zoe Davenport. And she's coming from Hawaii. So she's taking time out of her special time in Hawaii to be with us. And I'm really excited that you're here and that you're going to share with us today your wisdom as it relates to the energies that are coming in and what it is that all of us really will benefit from as we head into this new frontier. I just feel like it's the Old West in the United States, which is all about figuring it out as we go along. That's what the Old West was all about. And coming out better than a survivor. I feel like it's about some fun and happiness and finding that path as we go through this time period. So I want to welcome you, Zoe. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for such a warm introduction. And yeah, what a blessing to be here today. I'm sure there's going to be lots of amazing transmissions and sharings in this conversation. So yeah, thank you for having me on. This is the first time, right? Well, we've done this.
This is your first time.
It's beautiful.
It's terrific, and I'm excited to have you. I love your energy. Always, just when I see your picture, I always think of just that's the happiness part. That's your energy. I really love it. Just it's all good, and you just roll with it, and you can be happy about it, even when we all go through tough times. But I think it's easier to bear when it's okay, right? You can find that happy part. It's kind of weird, but that's the energy that's what I get from you when I connect. It's like just happy. Like I'm just happy. And that's beautiful. Like who wouldn't want that, right? We can say to the audience, if you really want that, go ahead and say to yourself, I am happy. And tap into Zoe's energy so she can show you how to do it. See, there is stuff about frequency that can be transferred. So I guess that's where we're going to start, Zoe. Tell us a little about yourself and the work that you do. And it came to me earlier, your soul's purpose is, and I also heard avatar for you, which is really interesting. I don't think I've ever received that for anybody before. So what does that mean to you? I'd like to know.
Oh, I love that. So my soul purpose is, and my avatar is, oh gosh.
All right, what does avatar mean to you when you hear that? I mean, I think that's really fascinating. Anyway, I don't think it's a Game Boy avatar.
when I receive the energy behind the word avatar, I really see it as who we are at a soul level, expressing ourselves. It's who we're choosing to express ourselves as in this physical incarnation. And so for my highest potential, my soul is journeying and expressing itself through the eyes of Zoe, of her body, of her gender, of her age. And so the avatar being this physical vessel, and the higher self aspect, the soul aspect, is the understanding of all of the multidimensional version of self. But yet in this particular moment, this particular reality, that's who it's expressing itself as. So when I hear that name, it's like my avatar is Zoe. You know, that's who needed to be here in this reality to bring through the transmissions of light, to activate and work with the lands in the way that Zoe does, to work with clients in the way Zoe does, through Zoe's unique personality and her expression.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's embodiment of self.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's fantastic. I mean, it's like boiling it down. That's fabulous. That's an excellent answer. I was thinking to myself as you were talking, I was thinking, okay, we're done. We're out here. That's the answer. Embody yourself, be your own avatar. Do it as you would do it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. All right. So you work with clients and you work with channeling light, holding light. What is it that you love best about what it is that you do? What really makes you happy?
What makes me happy the most is when people finally understand and the simplistic answer, and they actually take action on that, and it actually gets them results, and they see transformation in their life. I feel that awakening has always become very, very complicated in very many different threads of consciousness, and I find many people understanding all of these different kind of pieces, but not really understanding how that all fits into place into the human expression. And so, you know, spirit is not trying to make things complicated for us. Spirit actually keeps saying the same message in thousands of different ways. And when we finally receive that message at a soul level and really feel it in our hearts, it's like the light bulb goes off, and whatever somebody was struggling with, they can finally break through it. And so, you know, we're not here to spend our entire lives working through our soul stuff. We're not here to keep regurgitating the karmic contracts. We're here to clear once and for all any and all distortions in our field, so that our light bodies can be activated and we can come into the real reason why we're here, our soul purpose being our starseed heritage, the connection we have to all of our multidimensional selves, and that we can really, really create actionable and energetic change on the planet. So it's not to say the soul work is insignificant, it's very important, but we need to do it from a space of expansion, not contraction. And we've been taught contraction, and oh, I guess I was bad in a previous life and I have to endure this for the next 40 years. And it's not, it's old paradigm, it's old way. We're in such a frequency of light and playfulness. And you were remarking at the start, you're like, oh, I really love your happiness. I really love your joy, you know, and really that's what it takes to clear what is in the way, to really, almost like your house could blow up and you'd be walking away laughing, well, I guess I didn't need the house anymore. Right? It's non-attachment. It's practicing non-attachment to people, places, and things, yet fiercely and deeply loving all of it, because it steps us out of that. Why is this happening to me? And we go into an energetic inquiry. Oh, why is this happening for me? What am I to clear right now? What in my beliefs and subconscious reality am I recreating the same pattern for myself? Right? And so when we're looking to completely transform our lives and follow ascension and bring in, you know, activate our spiritual gifts, all of that, it comes hand in hand with the frequency of joy and really practicing who we truly are at a soul level, right? The avatar, the Zoe, she's had pain and trauma to go through, but as she loved herself, she was able to access different parts of herself, that higher self part. And I say Zoe as if I'm outside of Zoe. I'm just talking through my higher self part. So it just makes it easier.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, I think that the idea that you talk about with regard to being unattached yet loving everything, this is so important for people, and probably one of the hardest things to do, because the idea in the old paradigm way of thinking is that I need it, I want it. And those words in and of itself make it separate from you, but also as like a reward, or you don't deserve it. I mean, so it creates all kinds of division, just this idea that this want and need versus that it's part of my life. It makes my life happy and joyful and all of that. But if it goes away, that's fine, because we know there's something else for me. But truly believe it instead of just saying those words, and having the perspective that there's whatever you need is always available for you. Whatever is in your best good is always available. I think that the hardest part for people is to understand that because you want something, maybe that isn't in your highest and best good. Even if you felt like you heard it come in or whatever, it might be just that idea or whatever it is you heard is just to get you on a trail to start going down a certain path, but it isn't actually the thing that you're going for, right? So that non-attachment means that you're willing to allow that path to unfold, right? And take it and see what happens, versus just, oh no, I was told it's a red car and it's got to be a red car. So that's what somebody's going to bring me, right? Or whatever it is that you heard or know is coming. Just like Avatar, when I heard that when I was prepping for this, I had no idea, and I didn't give it any thought, just the word. And so with your definition you gave it for you, I just was like, well, I wouldn't have myself gone there, but I think that's fabulous. I just love it. So I appreciate that the idea, and I hope that when people hear it, they'll allow it to expand within themselves and what it means for them, because each one of us has our own way of interpreting, right? And that tells us a lot about where we are and what it is that we need to do for ourselves in our own healing journey and expansion journey. Because I agree with you, there comes a point where we just stop talking about limiting beliefs and all this other stuff. I mean, just yes, okay. And then what can you do? I mean, I don't know why, but I always see it like a high jumper. What can you do to high jump over that and just, you know, and it doesn't mean that you ignore it, right? So how are you seeing that happen for people where they're able, because I believe or feel that the energies are moving people fast. And so we're able to go through more than we were in the past. What are you seeing and experiencing?
So what's happened is an acceleration of what we perceive time to be, which is really just an acceleration of us moving through density much faster, so that we can really get on and do the work that we came here to do. You know, as I was sharing before, like many people are getting a little bit too stuck in the soul work and feel that they're in constant process. And really, we need to just kind of clear that and move on and get light. And so as the dimensional awarenesses are shifting of what we perceive physical reality to be, which is before it's been solely in the third dimensional viewpoint, as it's shifting into physical reality through a fifth dimensional viewpoint, how we understood linear perspective and time, it's kind of distorting. And so what that does mean is people they're shifting and clearing much quicker. So, you know, let's say 50 years ago, it may have taken someone 40 years to maybe even start to open up their third eye and start to have psychic abilities. Now somebody may have something happen in less than a week. And then maybe in a month they are being activated to light language, and maybe in a year they're having full-blown, complete high self-embodiment. So what that means is that the frequency on planet Earth, the humans that are embodying that much more light, we're all holding that for each other co-creatively. And so we are able to shift a lot quicker. And when I think about my own personal journey, the journey that the human has experienced, even who I was 4 weeks ago, before I took the journey to Hawaii, isn't who I am now. And it's interesting, actually, before we got onto the interview, I was messaging you on Facebook to say I was ready. And a video popped up that I had made online 3 years ago. And that person to me is completely unrecognizable. Like, sure, the hair's different, maybe the face is different, but the energy of who that person was is not who this person is now. And we really are called to practice non-attachment that much more, especially when it comes to things that we thought were going to happen in a particular expected time frame, or how it wants to come in. As you were sharing about the red car, you know, maybe someone needed a blue car from somewhere else. You know, we've got to really open ourselves up to what is really wanting to come in for us, because stuff isn't against us, it's really for us. And as we come into alignment with that, we really recognize, and almost like just feel really supported by all the synchronicity that we see around us, you know, and how we're being divinely led.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I feel it.
That's the hardest part, I think, for people, is to really tap into that intuitive knowing of where you're being divinely led and allow it to go in the direction that it will.
Mm-hmm. And it's only hard for people because they're resisting it to be easy. And that's the problem, is where we're being led to is expansion. It's light, it's easy. When we are in resistance to who we are, that's when it's like we're not trusting the unknown. We don't want to take a leap of faith. And people are so scared to trust in what they're being shown.
Yes.
Because really, not that, like, who would they truly be if it worked out? If they actually started to really listen. And this is what I have had to practice for the last 10 years, is complete blind faith. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to be teaching and embodying what I do and helping humanity in the way that I do, which is more of connecting starseeds to their memories. I wouldn't have been able to access those higher dimensional realms if I didn't let the human be blindly led and supported. And so I'm talking about moments of spending the last £300 in the bank account to buy a one-way ticket. I'm talking about, you know, walking, and this is a few years ago, but all these little moments that I had, whereas, I mean, I was told to leave my job, sell everything I own, leave the country I was living in, and I'd be told the next steps after I'd done that. So I had no idea.
That's right. That's usually how it works, right? Nobody gives you the whole blueprint. That's the point. So keep going. I'm laughing only because I'm commiserating. Go ahead.
And that's kind of what it takes. Yes. You know, it's kind of what it takes. You know, and I always come back to this, and this keeps me going every day. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day and expecting different results. Yes. You know, and it's 2020 now. Like, let's I'm going to share this with you because I've shared this a couple of times and people really enjoy this analogy. Let's put 2019 on a little sailboat and just push it off into the ocean. There we go. So that's done, right? Off it goes.
Right.
Now we're in 2020. This is about expansion, completion, embodiment, living, breathing, speaking your truth, knowing who you are and who you came here to be, which is a way shower, a visionary, a starseed. Whatever title you want to give yourself all of those titles. I do. It's great. You know, we do bits of all of it. That's what we're here to do. And the soul work, I don't know, and what's going to happen? I'm just like, look, just try it. Just try it. Just try testing the boundaries of what you perceive reality to be, because that's what will break you through.
Yes.
And you know what? Even the moments where I was tested beyond ridiculousness. I mean, I'm talking like the last £300 in my bank account, buying a one-way ticket. You know what happened? 2 weeks later, by the time I was on that flight, £4,000 came in. £4,000. So, and I knew when I was going through those experiences, I was kind of laughing with my guys. I was like, I know why you're doing this, because I have to share this one day. And I said, yeah, so you know. I'm like, fine. So even, and I always came back to this, you know, what's the worst that can happen by you trying something different? And so when we break it down, what's the worst that can happen? Well, you don't get on the flight. What's the worst that can happen? You've quit your job and you don't find a job. Well, something else will come in. It's resourcefulness and picking the low-hanging fruit and almost having a sense of playfulness of the universe. But most people, they make decisions and they do the unknown. They're okay at kind of trusting, but yet there's hesitation and fear. And so they're still carrying that in their field. And then it's almost then they look for validation around and see, I said it wasn't going to work. I knew that wasn't going to work. I knew it couldn't be that easy. You have to kind of like get back into being a bit of a child and just having no attachment to anything. And so when you share, you know, you appreciate the joy and happiness in my being, it's because I understand how reality works, because I've studied quantum physics and I've tested it and it works. You know, it goes beyond law of attraction. This is complete alignment to who you came here to be, and to command to be fully supported every single day. People aren't asking enough of what they need to be here, you know? And so things can manifest at such a rapid rate within a matter of hours. An opportunity could come up for somebody. Less than 24 hours, you could be on a plane somewhere. You know, there's so much that we get to play with in our human avatar while we're bringing through our soul purpose. And
I love it. I agree with you 100%. And plus, more than that. I mean, the part is almost like leaving behind the human while you're still a human. That's the goal. I mean, you still play in this body, but it becomes a different experience. And it's really amazing. But every day it's a reaffirmation, just that you're walking this road. This is where you're heading. For myself, 2019 gave me opportunities to have to choose again. I've shared that with people. It's like, you know, we all, even when you think, you know, but you're already so devoted, right? You're already down the path and you're doing your work and all of those things. But for all of us at various times, we get to choose. And then every day you still have to choose. That's just part of our journey, is to continue to go forward and to expand, because there are times it is not as comfortable as you might have hoped or thought it would be, or what have you. This year has expressed itself for me in a completely different way than ever in the past. And it's quite funny because it is, I myself am being, and I use this word consciously, I am being forced to stop, to rest, and to allow myself the time to integrate, which for me, being a busy mom and working and all of those things that I'm doing, I'm always have been a doer and have always said, well, I'm a doer and I'm a type A personality, and I'm perfectly happy saying it, right? Because that's part of who I am. And so it's been very interesting, and I see it as, like you said, the cosmic joke, which is, that's great. Now you're not going to be doing, you're going to actually be in bed the whole weekend, and you're like, what? I have things to do. And so I've just, after the first time, then the second time, I just was like, I'm going to bed. See you all later. And that's a big growth for me, to just let it go. So that's a simple example of just being in the moment and just going with it and not fighting it, and just going, okay, well, it is what it is. So I have a question for you about 5D.
Mm-hmm.
I would love your perception, understanding, knowingness that you've been receiving. I hear a lot out there that, okay, we're already in 5D. What does that mean? And what's this all about? How's that? I mean, the 5D, there's so many things, but mostly I feel like there's still a lot of transition going on for people. So what does it mean when they hear, well, we're already in 5D?
Yeah, there's been a lot of miscommunication and explanation around, I think many people were kind of led to believe that 3D is no longer a frequency that we are able to reside in. And there was a lot of kind of spiritual ego that was happening. Oh, I'm totally in 5D now. And
thank you for saying that.
The thing is, someone shares that they're an ego. And so we're not. So let's expand even more than 5D. Let's expand into, we are divine infinite creators. At our true essence, we are source that chose to express itself in this particular moment in this beautiful bodies, right? Love your bodies, everyone. Love your bodies. And as our consciousness wakes up, which is really the complete decalcification and activation of our third eye, but also the awakening and opening of all of our energy centers, what happens on a energetic level is all of those centers are clear, so they're no longer holding density. And so they kind of like spin into one divine portal, which is the heart portal. As we move through those awarenesses of consciousness, we can experience ourselves multiple times a day in multiple dimensions. The physical body, the physical experience may be having an awareness of 3D, and it can also be having an awareness of 5D. It's almost like you put 3D, 5D is like you put a rainbow on top, right? 5D is like you think about your favorite person and then they phone you. 5D is like you're driving down the street and all you can see is burger joints and you kind of just really want some like little super cute vegan cafe, and suddenly 2 seconds later there's a really yummy vegan cafe. 5Ds like you are wanting to maybe you have some debt to pay that's like $8,999 something dollars, and you're keeping your frequency high on abundance, and you receive a check from Aunt Jean for $10,000 because she loves you. 5D is like witnessing and experiencing yourself as pure divine love, right? 6D is also as experiencing yourself in those energies, but also having access to different vantage points of maybe what you would have understood at a 3D level. 7D is the same, 8D is the same, 9D is the same, 10D is the same, and we go up and up and up, expand, expand, expand. So we can understand ourselves and witness ourselves in all of those different dimensional layers. And then it gets really trippy, because then we can experience ourselves in this human incarnation having a higher frequency of reality. So there's more flow, there's more abundance, there's more ease. We have access to a deeper knowing, and we really do trust that. we're meeting soul family, soul tribe, when we spent a few years in complete, what felt like energetic isolation, where maybe marriages failed, businesses broke up, bank accounts were emptied. You know, at some point, all of us have had to go through some kind of perceived chaos and destruction, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. And so the 5D is really, it's a layering process. And, you know, I do this all the time. I'm driving along like, wow, how's my frequency right now? I'm feeling maybe of being a little bit too 3D or a little bit kind of like down. I don't really see any synchronicity anymore. And I kind of say this to kind of test myself and also kind of have a bit of a joke with the universe. And then, you know, a car will pull out in front of me, 444, then I'll see 222, then I'll see someone with a love t-shirt, then I'll kind of like get a transmission and start seeing energy again, right? So what happened, especially when I was like really started to study consciousness about 10 years ago, I literally was told online by lots of people, you know, 3D is no more and we're going to be completely in 5D, and those that aren't ascending are going to suffer and die forever and all of this stuff. And that was awful. There was so much ego and conflict, and I just shut it all off. I was like, what is my truth? It's my heart. What is my truth? It's my knowing. What is my truth? It's how it feels in my body. Does it feel light? Well, it's probably true. If it feels heavy, I need to clear this. And so what happened in those moments of studying really self, what the consciousness is wanting to share with me, my higher self, is we get to experience multidimensionality. So there's all these different layers. And so 5D is not necessarily a destination or a place that a human expression is trying to get to. You can experience multiple dimensions throughout your entire day, right? You could go to a 2-hour sound bowl, be blasted off to outer space, feel amazing. But if you've really not done your work, you could go then and sit in a traffic jam and swear at someone because they pulled out in front of you. And that's the key, right? How can you still hold that frequency when there's perceived reality around you that's maybe not matching your frequency? And this is the point. As a light worker, it's like we power up. We open our heart and we send that energy out to all the people in the traffic jam, all the people in the busy shopping center. That's what we're doing here as light workers. So when I've experienced moments of 5D, 6D, 7D, my consciousness and my being has gone through so many different experiences of it all. Like, I really have seen everything. There's nothing left to fear. Even the dimensional realms where you would maybe say that there's energetic interference or entities or anything like that. It's all at its core essence is love. Our core essence is love. And so we kind of dip in and out of what 3D is and what 5D is. As a complete collective whole consciousness, yes, we are all learning to harmoniously and at the same time completely shift frequencies into a complete embodied 5D physical experience. And so that's kind of what we're doing co-creatively. On an individual level, you can completely experience 5D in human physical form every single day, even though maybe there's others around you that may not be having that experience, right? And that's kind of what we're doing. And so is humanity completely there yet? No. Could you experience yourself in a reality where humanity has? Yes, because we embody what we are calling in. So if anyone's really interested in this, this is like really a time to study quantum physics and string theory, because it really just helps to remind us about frequency and energy and what's our intention. And, you know, checking in 40, 50, 60 times a day. Am I being high vibe right now, or am I in judgment? Right? Am I being high vibe right now, or am I judging someone? Am I being high vibe right now, or am I envious? Am I jealous? Am I holding on to something? Am I being high vibe right now, or am I angry? You know, and we've got to love our human, and our human's allowed to go through those experiences as well. Like, yeah, get pissed off, get annoyed, right? But let it go.
I totally agree. Honor the human. For me, I say, look, for me, it's just about being whatever it is in the moment. How quickly do I move through it? How quickly am I able to transmute it, transform it without trying, without saying, oh my God, I'm going to transmute it. I think that's for me, that's the change. It's not that I'm actively doing anything. It's just that I'm not holding on to it, I guess, right? Is that it's just moving through, okay, done, and moving on. So what steps can people take to help them to move into that higher frequency? Besides, I love the checking in. I think that's a great idea for people to check in and ask themselves. Close your eyes, of course, because your mind is engaged when your eyes are open. So close your eyes and ask. It makes it easier to get the gut feeling, and be honest with yourself, because it's okay. It's okay. That's, for me, the idea is that it's okay if you're mad. It's okay if somebody pissed you off. But then, send them love and light. While you were talking earlier about being out in traffic jams and all, something we started, I don't know why it reminded me of this, but when my children were small, we started this, that every time we're in traffic and we hear a siren, we send love and light to all the people involved in whatever that siren has to do. See, I know, right? Because, it's usually an accident or something, not so great. And everybody, the firemen and whoever's rushing to the scene, everybody needs love and light. So just reminded me of that when you were talking about it in the traffic. So just even little things, right? But when you are coaching a client, like I know that you do individual coaching and, one-on-one, where people actually come and see you. When you're working with a person, how is it that you are helping them? How do you help them or advise them? What generally comes through for them? Like threads, like we were talking about quantum theory and string theory and all of that. So there are things that will repeat over and over. What is it that you help them to overcome or release or what have you, so that they're moving more fluidly into their frequency of their highest frequency, I guess? This is not even a question. It's more of just a discussion, because it's never A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. You follow all these steps, and this is what it is, right? It's more, what's the word I want? It's more about inside. So it's hard to always give that. But I'm just curious. I'm super curious as to what is it that you feel from people when you work with them, and how do you help them to shift that?
So I will share, I've gone through so many personal activations since the 11/11 of 2019 that the only kind of work I'm doing on a one-on-one basis now with people is really working with starseeds and working in those higher dimensional realms. And so I'm kind of, the type of clients I work with have already gone through a certain amount of understanding and awareness. It's like they get the soul work. And so I'm kind of meeting them at a particular frequency,
yes,
where we are now activating their starseed memories. The journey to get there, the journey to be in that higher frequency, what is your daily practice, right? The biggest thing that I have seen in the last kind of 5 or 6 years of working online with clients, when I ask them, what do you do every day to raise your frequency? What's your self-care plan? And there's so many people that stumble on that. Oh, I kind of do a bit of meditation, or sometimes I do a lot of meditation and I do nothing. I kind of journal, and then there's no consistency. And so the biggest thing for me that helped me to go through so many of the shifts and transitions I have is my morning practice. You can make this as long or as short as you have, but it really is waking up and dropping in with yourself of how you want to experience life and how you want life to happen for you as opposed to against you. And so a powerful visualization practice every single day, so you really are expanding and being in that dream space. A meditation practice, I would rather share with people to just do a 5-minute morning meditation every day than nothing at all, or feeling that it has to be like over 2 hours, otherwise they're not going to access everything. It really is little and often. It really is little and often. And so like I will share my morning practice, make this work for you. I generally wake up at 5 a.m. and I do a silent meditation. Then I journal. I write down 4 things that I'm grateful for. I write down 3 affirmations of what I want to embody that day. So if I'm feeling a little bit like, yeah, you know, focusing on the bank account or whatever, I write down, like, what do I want to embody? What is my belief for that day? What are my thoughts telling me? And what do I actually want to believe? What is actually true? Which is, we're infinite divine creator. We can create anything. So I write down some powerful affirmations that are kind of like remember throughout the day. I'll journal whatever kind of like little bits from my dreams, or, you know, if there's just like whatever gunk or stuff is in my head, you know, I'll write that down, and then I'll do a channeling. So I'll connect in with my higher self, and then I'll kind of share, like, what do I need to know today? And it doesn't have to be pages and pages and pages. I ain't got all day to be like, you know, switched off. So sometimes, like, that's literally 2 pages. It takes me 10 minutes. I've done my gratitude, my affirmations, my journaling, my channeling. What do I need to know today? Right? Sometimes it's just a short paragraph. Sometimes it's a bit more. And then I'll do my visualization. So sometimes I'll kind of just tune in and I visualize my day, and I imagine all the beautiful abundance and miracles and conversations that are going to happen. And then I'll tune a little bit further out. Like, what am I calling in for that year? What am I feeling psychically? And how can I become a vibrational match to that? And I just allow myself to dream and explore and discover, like, what could happen. I then sometimes do some yoga as well, and some exercise, and drink water. And, you know, sometimes my practice is half an hour, and sometimes it's 4 hours. Sometimes it's 5 minutes if I'm traveling. Sometimes I'll end up doing yoga or meditation at an airport because I travel a lot. And that for me has helped to keep my frequency in a state of alignment for the whole day. And then before I go to bed, I pretty much sleep with crystals under my bed or around me. I always set the energy in the container. I'll create a safe sleep container because my higher self does a lot of work. And sometimes it's like, human Zoe does not need to know what my higher self is doing all the time on a multidimensional level. So I don't need to be like, leaving my body and stuff. I actually like want to repair in my body. So quite often I'll just send my higher self off wherever the higher self needs to go, and I can sleep, which is really restful. So sometimes I'll do a meditation before bed, or I'll journal, you know, I'll do some stretching. And I've done that every day. And it has been the most transformational change for me. So, and then the second thing, and I've shared this with clients the last 6 years as well, is connecting to source 30, 40, 50 times a day. And it's literally just a case of taking a moment to breathe, connect with your heart, feel the soles of your feet on the earth, open up your crown, call the energy through, bring it through your body, bring it down through the soles of your feet, down into the earth, connect with the crystalline core of Gaia, bounce it back up to your heart, radiate it out, imagine it filling up your auric field, and then imagine your auric field expanding all the way around you, maybe 4 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet. Right? We set the tone of the experiences that we want to have, and we set the energy space. So I don't want to hear anything from anyone. Oh, that person has a negative energy. Oh, I can't possibly go in a public place. It's like, no, we're here to share light. We're here to expand ourselves so freaking bright that people are smiling when they've come into our presence. They feel a shift in their being because we're holding a frequency, right? So those tools, I actually made a course on this last year, which was a 30-day process of people, so that it's like they can have something to follow every day with guided meditations. And, you know, if you're just starting out and you've never meditated before, lie down, listen to a guided meditation. You know, it's always better for you to consciously be thinking, like, am I high vibe right now? Am I connecting to my truth? Is my heart open? Am I feeling grounded? Do I need to get out into nature? Do I need to stop what I'm doing? Do I need to maybe go to sleep? Do I need to just say goodbye to today? Do I need to just actually rest and not do anything? Listening to the divine flow, what is truly in alignment for us? Am I in alignment to go to dinner with these people? I know I said I would, but my energy is telling me something different. Listen to that. Right?
Right.
It's powerful.
So powerful and so good. And while you were just speaking, it occurred to me that, you know, a lot of people begin the process when they're in a place that, it came to me, people always start out with the really big questions. And then they go, I didn't hear anything. And you're like, but you didn't. It's like trying to put a kindergartner in high school. It's like you have to always be in this flow piece so that their big questions really aren't, I don't know. I think it changes. It shifts everything so that you don't end up in a place where there are only these big life altering questions to be answered. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like by doing this practice as you described it, which is excellent, they don't creep up on you. Because, you know, you're tuned in to what's going on, where your higher self, I've always described it like, imagine your higher self is up in an airplane, right? 30,000 feet up here, and you're the guy down here. Well, you can't see over the next hill or the next range or whatever, but your higher self's got the whole thing going on. And so they make a better Siri than Siri does. If you're listening, right? If you're taking those moments in order to do the work. So I appreciate the tips, because for each person, it's about finding what works for them, whatever it is, but it's choosing it and doing it and following through every day so that you can continue the trajectory that you are wanting and are committing to and have committed to do by coming here. So I think this is very, very important, because things are going crazy. I was saying yesterday to a friend, actually through text, I said, my God, why? It's only mid-January and it feels like the year's over. I don't know what's going on. And I just said, it seems to me that time is no longer an accurate measurement of where we are. Like in America, you know, everything is by time, right? It's going to take me 20 minutes to get to the store. It's going to take me an hour to get into work. Everything is, how much longer are you going to be? 15 more minutes. So we always measure things by time. This was pointed out to me many, many years ago by a European friend. He was like, you know, you guys talk about time all the time. And I was like, what? I didn't realize it's true. But anyway, time now no longer holds the same structure, right, that it once did. And so we were laughing about it, that we're going to have to find a new way to measure things soon, because 15 minutes isn't 15 minutes anymore. Not the way that we once considered it to be, right? So it's really an interesting collapse of the paradigm as we've experienced it as 3D, right? And so this too will mess with your equilibrium if you're not in the flow, right? Just kind of, it's a funny note of what I'm noticing lately is just, oh my, wait a second, how is it that we're only early January and it feels like, I don't know, it just doesn't even, I don't even know how to describe it anymore. It's really interesting. All right, my love, would you like to do an activation or something special before we sign off?
Yeah, that would be beautiful. And
right.
Yeah, I want to just add to what you were sharing about time, actually, because what you're describing is when we are shifting out of this illusion of density and that's true third dimensional hold, we understand ourselves as frequency and vibration again, right? And so it's not necessarily that time is shifting. The way we understand what reality is shifting, and it can come to our advantage more than our disadvantage. We have so much time than we think we need, and we also can shorten time as well. And that gets really playful because we can kind of move through things. It's almost like, let me use an example. So I had a friend that met a divine partner last year, and they moved through something in 2 weeks that would have taken them a 20-year relationship. And the beauty of that is they received everything that they needed to, and now they're really coming into the full expression of who they are and who they came here to be. And there was so much love and honoring in that. And so we are moving through things so much quicker. It can easy to have this perception that we don't have enough time. And I was reminding myself this today when I was driving to the airport. I had to do a few things, go to the shop, come back, figure out the house, go to this place, drop this car off, get another car. And I started to get really panicky about time. Of course, then there's a car in front of me that's like really slow. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? And there was like a whole detour on the road, and like there was a huge traffic jam on the other side. And I was just like, wow, like what am I creating right now? And I started to visualize, I'm going to have exactly what I need so that I'm not waiting and I'm not going to be late. I'm perfectly in balance and in that moment. And it just totally shifted my experience from one of panic and overwhelm and like driving this like rickety car that I'd hired, which I didn't like, behind this like super slow car, to suddenly I really saw nature, and the diversion was really beautiful. It was a part of the island that I hadn't seen before. I dropped my car off. There's no queue. There's no worry with that. And as soon as I left, 8 cars to drop their cars off pulled up behind me. I was the first one.
Nice.
I walked down the road to get the second one, and I went to the cashier, and then about 10 people suddenly was in line behind me. So I think there was about 3 people in front of me when I arrived. And as soon as I got to cashier, like 10 people were behind me. I was like, wow, interesting. And I got the car, and I was exactly on time to the minute when I had originally visualized what time I wanted to pick up my friend. And that's what we get to play with. So we can stretch the perception of what a minute is into an hour if we need. It's why, people like Einstein and Tesla, like they created so much work, like they wrote so many books and things because they understood time. They could stretch it, they could bend it, they could refract it, they could make it work for them. So have some fun with it, right? It's so
I'm going to.
Interesting.
I mean, it's funny because sometimes the old teachings that I learned 20 years ago, that I didn't have the capacity or the vibration to actually use it at the time. It was very, very dense. And that doesn't mean mentally dense. I just very heavy. Just had a lot of stuff that I'm still carrying around, right? So it's funny because very recently, as we were rushing the kids to school because, oh my Lord, it was so late. And it popped back into my mind, soul tech. So it's just old things come back at just the right moment. Anyway, asking for more time, that we need to arrive on time, and we were behind. Would you believe we were laughing so hard? A gas tanker truck going to my child's school, which is like way out. And I said to my daughter, I said, this is going to crack me up if this gas truck turns to go toward your school, because it's like that's the dead end. It's just the school.
Wow.
And it turned, and we're like, it would be even funnier if this thing had a kid and they dropped him off in the car line. Anyway, went to the bus area, but we were laughing about it. But here's the beauty is what you said. Not only was my daughter on time to school, but so did my son. He goes to another school, so we do a round thing. So everybody made it just on time without worry or rush. But it was that connection, and like you said, just aligning and accepting that, okay, it's fine. We may be behind this slow tanker filled with gas, but we're going to be on time. So anyway, I love that you brought it up because it is true. And I think maybe I just haven't been connecting enough to be stretching out my time. Instead, it seems to be collapsing on itself. And you're like, where'd the day go? All right, so I'm going to start actively paying more attention to requesting to stretch mine out some more. I need 25 hours in a day, not 24. Anyway, all right, love, let's go to it.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I will say to that as well, like everyone's like, oh, I didn't have time to do my morning practice. I was like, just wake up half an hour earlier. You know, we actually need less sleep than we think we need now as well.
That's
Like,
true. I have said that now for a while.
mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Beautiful.
All right.
What do you feel that you need and what your audience would need to feel super nourished for this experience of January? I'm going to let you decide what kind of
I want you
activation.
to bring happy. I seriously would love it if you would pull everybody together. Part of the mental, Gabrielle, is it's almost like the idea of being able to replicate something a lot easier once you actually feel it. Like you're almost like be able to copy somebody else's energetic so that you can embody it and begin replicating it. You know what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would love it if you would do that, because I just yours, it's not that you're not peaceful, but that is not the overriding frequency that I get from you. So I mean, it's there, but it is the joy and just that happy in a way that I haven't experienced it from another person quite the way you embody it. So it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I think you sharing what that feels like for people would be amazing.
Okay, I'm getting the download through. So just take a moment to close your eyes then. Bring yourself into awareness of your breath. So breathing in for counts of 4 through your nose and out for counts of 4 through your nose. So nice equal inhalations and exhalations, in through your nose, out through your nose. And as you breathe in, just allowing yourself to breathe in life force energy, and on your exhalations, just letting your body relax, your mind relax, and coming into stillness. Feeling the soles of your feet on the earth. Just paying attention to how your body is feeling. Maybe your shoulders need a little roll, maybe your neck, a quick little stretch or something. And just really allow yourself to come into a comfortable position. Maybe you need to lie down, maybe you need to sit on a chair, whatever is in alignment for you. As you breathe in, just really allowing your mind to focus on your breath. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And so as you are in this space of breath, I had that song come through. I am happy now. Da, 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 da. I want you to just take a moment to focus on your mind's eye, so the spot between your eyebrows, and think of a moment in your life where you experienced pure bliss and pure joy. So just a moment where, you had the type of giggles that you just couldn't stop laughing. Something would maybe it's something someone said, or maybe something happened where you just were so much joy, so much laughter, so much playfulness. Maybe you were young, maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was last week. So just come into a moment and place your hands on your heart. So you're connecting in with your heart as you're bringing in this joyful and happy memory. So it's activating the neuron to remind you that happy equals heart opening. Heart opening equals happy and joyful. Focusing on that moment, really feeling into the joy of what you had experienced. And breathing deeply into your heart space. And then just releasing that memory and coming into awareness of another memory of when you experienced happiness and laughter and silliness and giggles, and maybe there was a time that someone chucked a snowball in your face, or maybe you were in the ocean and the wave took your bikini, or Just coming into one of those silly, joyful moments in your life when you experienced bliss as a human. The joy and laughter of that moment where you weren't focused on your fears, you weren't focused on the past, you weren't focused on the future, you weren't focused on attachments or expectations, you were just focused on play and joyfulness. Really connecting into that memory, almost allowing your face to smile, having a physical smile as you connect into that memory, feeling the hands on your heart, connecting in that memory to your heart space, breathing love and joy and happiness into your heart space. Now bringing your awareness and finding yourself through your mind's eye when you were about 3 or 4. 3 or 4. So imagining what you used to look like when you were 3 or 4, coming up with an image in your mind. Remembering how small you were. You were old enough to speak, yet young enough to not quite be totally conditioned yet by the reality around you. You were in your own little sub-dimension. You were creative, you were playful, you were non-attached, you weren't worried about the future. You only understood the moment of now, the power of now, the presence of the moment. Just imagine you at 3 or 4, connecting in with that energy. And just imagining in your mind's eye, you scooping yourself up and almost kind of like putting yourself at 3 or 4 into your heart space. So it's reconnecting with that inner child, that inner version of you that's here to show you playfulness and joyfulness and how to really practice happiness through non-attachment, practicing happiness through creativity, practicing happiness through imagination. Imagining that you are happy, imagining that you are joyful. Just connecting in with that image, allowing your 3-year-old, 4-year-old self to, almost like they've shrunk down and you've scooped them up and put them into your heart. And just breathe love into your heart. Breathe love into that little person of you, knowing that they are safe, letting them know that they are protected, letting them know that they are loved, letting them know that they are free to play. They are free to show you how they need to be loved, and they are free to show you how to use that beautiful imagination and creativity to call in all of your desires, all of your soul alignment, so that as you move forward, setting the intention of playfulness through clearing density, playfulness through soul alignment, playfulness through clearing what is no longer serving, playfulness through manifesting, playfulness through calling in all of what your soul desires. Really connecting into that intention, feeling your hands in your heart, reinstalling and activating the code of playfulness. Show me. Reinstalling and activating the playfulness codes of joy, abundance, imagination. Setting the intentions and activating the codes of lightness within your heart space, lightness within your being. Show me. In your mind's eye now, just imagine that you are being blessed with thousands and thousands of tiny little sparkles of glitter from the fairy realms and elemental realms. Show me. Allow these little blessings to feel like glitter kisses all over your body and all over your auric field. And we're just going to bring in a short transmission from the fairy realms. So just really keeping in this energetic space. If you feel like needing to move your body slightly, you may do so, but having your hands on your heart, connecting in through your third eye, and imagining beautiful sparkles of blessings and light and abundance and high frequency light energy to be pouring through you. It is our pleasure to connect with you all today to remind you how to play. You have become so serious when it comes to needing to clear what is no longer serving. And as we bless you today with these kisses, why so sad? Why so serious? Whenever you find yourself overthinking, we ask you to try to smile. When you find yourself caught in the worries of what will happen, we ask you to smile. When you are worried about how things are going to unfold for you, we ask you to smile. Pretend to laugh if you are not feeling like laughing. This will help to shift your frequency. Try it. You might like it. You might like to be happy. You might like to clear through being joyful. For there is only the expansion and room for happiness and joy in the higher frequencies. And so as you remember your child, as you remember to play, as you remember to use your imagination, all can unfold for you now, and giving you lots of fairy kisses. Isandia to shumuitai amo komataiso. Isu shumatandia namo sama. Ikandia to sumui masama toya masa. I'm just taking a nice deep breath in through your heart. Allowing your face to smile, allowing your body to smile, allowing yourself to receive all of the beautiful blessings of this crystal energy, all of this beautiful glistening, glittery, sparkly light. Show me. Taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And just rubbing your hands together to create some heat. And then just lightly placing them over your eyes. And gently opening your eyes and coming into space.
That was great. When I just did the over my eyes, I saw all these golden bubbles, like making shapes. Very,
Oh wow!
very fun.
Beautiful. There we
Very
go.
beautiful. Oh, absolutely lovely. All right. So, and my hands are on fire. So I didn't even need to do a warm up. This whole time, the having it over in the high heart, just all activated. So thank you. It was really beautiful and fun, and it reminds us all to take the time to step into the fun. And you will see, I think that interactive play is really key for going through from here forward what it is that we're meant to do. It is paramount for people to find the joy, to make the joy happen, right? So is there any last message that you have? Just anything, or just simply, it's all love, and we will sign off.
I just want to remind everyone that it's light work. It's not heavy work, it's light work. Okay. And so, you know, if you're really moving through some stuff and you're in the middle of it, it's like, remember to connect to your joy. I chose this. I chose to clear density. I chose to be sick right now. Thank you, body, for clearing. Thank you, mind, for breaking the illusion. Right?
Right.
It's like we have to kind of laugh at some of the stuff that happens in our reality because it's quite ridiculous. Right? People's marriages are shifting from 14 years. Right? Houses are shifting. There's so much that is being cleared so that we can hold more joy in our hearts. And so as we go through these processes, let's remind ourselves, oh, I totally asked for this. On a soul level, on a subconscious level, I asked. And we are not here to suffer. And as we clear, we are able to understand reality from a much more expanded and quantum level. But it's like, do your homework, do your work, do your soul work, you know, do your galactic work. Understand that we are in a time of great transformation through play.
That's right. And allow it to move as it will. And that is how you actually get through it, whether you perceive it to be hard, bad, or whatever it is. But the fastest way through it, right? Exactly. Those are just perceptions. And that's actually funny. When you can laugh at yourself when you have that perception, then you know you're heading in the right direction. For me anyway, that's the fun part, is actually getting to look back and go, that's hilarious, Gabrielle. I cannot believe that you felt that way or thought that way or whatever it was, because that for me says a lot. That's just my personality, and allowing that to evolve. And you can truly just find something funny about whatever it is, the crazy. All right, my love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. I know. I love you. And we'll see you soon on our panelist show. Everyone, thank you for being here. We appreciate your time, your energy, and your love. And we send you much love and light. Namaste.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
We hope that you have enjoyed the SoulScape Show and that you will join Gabrielle Spencer when she is out at the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles, February 7th through 9th. Gabrielle's talk is Sunday morning, 9 a.m. for Heal Soul Separation, Unlock Your Abundance. I hope you'll join me. See you soon.